Hi, I'm Leanne from BatLadyHerbals, and welcome to my video. So there's a lot of reasons this park is great for families and for hikers. One, this building right here next to the boardwalk is bathrooms, public restrooms. Great friends with hikers. But also, there's a playground. And it's a really interesting little playground with a fake cypress stump for the children to play all over. You can also encounter common Florida wetland plants here, such as dollarweed and ponyfoot. And then it's really out of season to have a beautiful example. But there's also a couple violets in the picture. Another reason you know this park is in the middle of a floodplain is the presence of this ground cover, which is one of my favorite Florida native ground covers. And I believe I've already done a video on it, which I will link down below. But this is St. John's mint, or Micromeria brownie eye. If you crush it, it smells like mint, but the medicinal properties are closer to that of pennyroyal than a traditional mint. Now here's a fairly common plant to encounter in Florida, especially in Central Florida, but it's one that I don't really enjoy encountering. That's because it's one of our most aggressive invasive species that we have here, and the common name for it is air potato. And it gets its common name from the little potato-like structures that it grows along the vine, where when those fall to the ground, they almost immediately take root. So it not only spreads through the roots and shoots from that way, it spreads through these little potatoes that hit the ground. So if you see these while you're on a hike, don't feel bad at all about trying to get rid of them. Another reason this park is so good for people who are on the Cross Seminole Trail, especially bicyclers, is it's got a public work stand to work on your bike if you should need to. And here we have one of the South's most notorious trees, the magnolia. While there are no blooms this late in the season, there are pods on the ground. This tree is absolutely stunning. And this is the entrance to the park from the road. And you can see where it connects to the Cross Seminole Trail. And is even considered to be a trailhead for the trail. And here we have another infamous plant of the South, the azalea bush. And some of them are still in bloom. Gorgeous little flowers. Here we have the clone of the senator, which they have dubbed the phoenix. And there's a little information on that plaque there about this clone and its story, and a little bit more of the story of the senator. This particular tree was cloned in the 90s and was relocated here when it was about 40 feet tall. And hopefully it will have a nice long life at Big Tree Park. So the bald cypress is what we call a gymnosperm, which means it is not fruit bearing. It does have, however, these little cones. Now they may not look like cones until you get really up close and personal with them. That's what they are. This is what cypress trees have in place of fruit. So this boardwalk and trail through the floodplain was actually built to lead to probably one of the tallest trees in Central Florida. Now this tree, historically, was really important to the Native American peoples of the area because it was used as a landmark, because you could see it above everything else. However, several years back, unfortunately, this tree, which was named the Senator, did meet with a fire and has since burnt down. But as you're walking along the boardwalk, you'll find certain pieces of the boardwalk will give you measurements and sometimes even years and information about the Senator. Also along the boardwalk, you'll find these little information plaques that give you little tidbits about the Senator and what might have happened to him along its life, as well as some absolutely gorgeous scenery. Some of the plants here include palmetto, all kinds of ferns. There's a couple tulip trees too. Now here's a plant you don't see every day. This is a papyrus. Can't remember the exact species, but I'll make sure that I put it in the video for you guys. And if I remember correctly, this is not a native species, but one that has escaped cultivation. And here we have a very tall, but very young palm tree. I believe it's a sable palm or cabbage palm. And just a refresher, how you tell the difference between a palm tree and a palmetto is the center of the leaf frond, and a palm tree is going to be pointed, but a palmetto is going to be rounded. As a comparison to earlier, here is a older sable or cabbage palm. A little bit more mature, and of course a little taller, but all around it are its little pups. So one of the measurements that we're seeing on the boardwalk is how tall the Senator was at certain stages of its life. And since the Senator was a cypress, these are estimates based on the average growth rate of a cypress. Now right here, we have a little information about when it was 3,500 years old and a hurricane came through and knocked off the top bit of it. Prior to that, it was 160 feet, which is what that measurement on the boardwalk was measuring. All these plaques make this such a great place to bring kids or people who just want to learn a little bit more about especially cypress trees, but nature in general. It's a good place to get outside and to learn some interesting tidbits about the world around you. And this really is a floodplain. It's easy to forget that when you're walking along the boardwalks, but the reason the boardwalks are here is because this area can get pretty high with water, as shown here in this little stream that we like to walk across whenever we come. And we finally reached the namesake of this park, the big tree, also known as the Senator. And it's very sad that he was lost to a fire. It happened in 2012. But up by the entrance, they did clone him. And they have his clone growing in a well-protected area. And hopefully, the Senator's clone will be around for a very, very long time to come. So cypresses are deciduous trees, and one of the interesting facts about deciduous trees is that they rot or deteriorate from the inside out. So when you're in the woods and you see a tree that has a hollow in it, a pretty good sized hollow, it's probably a deciduous tree. And that is where the senator got caught in the fire, because someone was trying to take shelter for the night and started a fire inside the hollow. And it just happened to catch. Now at the end of the boardwalk, we have the senator's sister tree, the Lady Liberty, which experts have estimated to be around 2,000 years old. And as the senator lost his top in a hurricane when he was about 3,500 years old, the Lady Liberty's top has been lost through another natural thing like that. But, as you can see, if you look at the very top, she's still got growth going. And if you come here around nesting season, there's usually an osprey or two that like to nest in her branches. So here under the shade of Lady Liberty is where I'm going to leave you for today. This is a beautiful park, and it's a great area for families and for people who just want to take a quick walk in nature. Once again, this is Big Tree Park in Longwood, Florida. So thank you for joining me today on this short but fun adventure. Once again, I'm Leanne from BatLadyHerbals. If you like what I'm doing and would like to support the channel, feel free to find me on Patreon and become a patron. If you like the video, don't forget to like it. Feel free to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you want to be notified about any of my uploads. Now, if you want me to come over to your house and help you find what nature might have in store for you in your backyard, I do something called backyard tours. Information to contact me about those is going to be down below, as well as links to my Patreon, my blog, and my Teespring shop, where you can find all kinds of designs to help promote hiking and herbalism here in Central Florida. Thank you again, and have a wonderful day.